Kyon, the ultimate eye-rolling teen, is all geared up for a normal high school gig, hoping for a life as thrilling as drying paint. But boom, he meets Haruhi Suzumiya, the queen of quirk, who's as athletic as a cheetah and as bored as a sloth on a Sunday. By some cosmic accident, Kyon suggests she start a club to hunt down aliens, espers, and time travelers hiding among the normies. And just like that, the SOS Brigade is born, dragging Kyon into a whirlwind of wacky escapades he never signed up for. If you're up for some out-of-this-world adventures, hit like and share to spread the fun. It all begins where Kyon's start of attending high school, when he discovers that a certain eccentric girl sits behind him, Haruhi Suzumiya. Haruhi's got this badass loner vibe, dodging normal humans like they're some kind of cosmic joke. She's on the hunt for the weird and wild, aliens, superhumans, time travelers. Regular folks just ain't her jam. Then there's this dude. Persistent as a damned cockroach, he finally whittles his way into her space. Every morning before class, he manages to grab a few minutes with her. It's not much, but it's something. Slowly but surely, he's worming his way into her wacky world of the extraordinary. The whole class is blown away when they see Haruhi actually chatting with someone for so long. One thing leads to another, and before you know it, Haruhi comes up with the bright idea to start a new club. Of course, Kyon gets dragged into it. Haruhi somehow scores the literature club's room since it only has one member, Yuki Nagavo, who's cool with it, as long as she can read in peace. Then Haruhi persuades Mikuru Asahina, a shy upperclassman, to join too. In the end, Haruhi proudly announces the name of their new club, the SOS Brigade, with the SOS Brigade as a semi-official club, still lacking a fifth member. Haruhi decides she wants a computer for the clubroom, so she literally grabs Kyon and drags him and Mikuru to the computer club to score a computer. When the computer club president refuses to donate one, Haruhi frames him for sexually harassing Mikuru by pushing him onto her and snapping incriminating photos. He concedes, and Haruhi gets her computer. Haruhi then tells Kyon to make a website because it's not possible to be an active club without one. Next, she moves on to her next plan. Haruhi gets 2 bunny girl outfits and forces Mikuru to wear one with her. They hand out flyers at the school's front gate, but get caught by some teachers. Finally, Yuki decides to drop a bombshell. She slips Kyon a book with a sneaky little bookmark that tells him to meet her in the park at 7 p.m. Kyon, curious as a cat, follows Yuki all the way to her apartment. Once they're there, she spills the beans. She's a freaking alien. She then reveals that she is specifically a human interface for the integrated data entity. Her job is to monitor Haruhi, who is a cosmic anomaly. Something significant happened 3 years ago, leading the data entity to closely watch Haruhi. Interestingly, Haruhi has a special interest in Kyon. The next day, a new student, Itsuki Koizumi, creates a buzz at school. Haruhi, in her usual style, drags him into the club without explaining its purpose. Itsuki goes along with it. During the weekend, Haruhi leads the club on a search for mysteries. Kyon ends up with Mikuru and learns in the park that she's a time traveler sent to watch over Haruhi because of an event 3 years prior. Mikuru reveals that Kyon is Haruhi's chosen one. So the squad's munching down their grub, and they reshuffle their damn partners. Kyon teams up with Yuki, but these clowns roll up late to the library. Haruhi loses her shit and stomps off like she's gotta be up her ass. On Monday, Kyon confronts Itsuki, suspicious. Itsuki confesses outside the clubroom, revealing he's an esper tasked with watching Haruhi since an incident 3 years ago. He insists he's just a regular guy, despite Haruhi's interest in him. Kyon receives a mysterious note asking for a meeting in an empty classroom after school. He finds Ryuko Asakura waiting, seemingly perfect, but then revealing a dark side, pulling out a knife to attack him. The classroom begins to change around them as Ryuko's true intentions are revealed. Yuki intervenes, protecting Kyon and revealing that Ryuko is a rogue backup of hers. After an intense fight, Yuki manages to shut down Ryuko, ending the threat. Yuki fixes the classroom, but the space cadet forgets her glasses. Kyon's like, "You look hotter without them anyway." The next day, the class learns that Ryuko has transferred out suddenly due to her father's work, or so they were told. Haruhi is thrilled by the unexpected turn of events. Kyon receives another note in his locker, directing him to the clubroom at lunchtime. There he meets future Mikuru, who cryptically tells him Snow White, hinting at classified information. We then see Haruhi dragging Kyon to visit Ryuko's former address, eager to investigate the circumstances of her sudden transfer. Haruhi and Kyon decide to do some detective work at Ryuko's old condo building. They manage to sneak inside but hit a dead end when they find her unit locked. They then approach the property manager for some info. Haruhi's questions reveal that Ryuko had been living there alone for about 3 years and had paid for the condo in cash up front. On the trip back, Haruhi spills her guts to Kyon about some tiny-ass moment at a baseball game as a kid that made her feel like a speck in Japan's vastness. That's what lit her fire for crazy shit and wild adventures. After their adventure, Kyon meets Itsuki, and they take a cab to witness Itsuki's powers in action. Itsuki explains how Haruhi's irritation can create a separate space where giant, destructive entities appear, and they work together to stop these creatures. As the day winds down, Kyon smells trouble cooking for tomorrow, hinting at more crazy-ass adventures on the horizon. Haruhi has been in a bit of a funk since opening up about her feelings in the last episode. Things don't improve when she catches Kyon and Mikuru goofing off at the computer after school. She braids Mikuru's hair, but doesn't seem to be in the best mood. That night, Kyon has a strange dream where he wakes up at school with only Haruhi around. They discover they're trapped by a barrier, and Kyon realizes they're inside one of Haruhi's reality-altering bubbles. Initially frightened, Haruhi becomes intrigued and runs off, leaving Kyon to explore on his own. Itsuki appears to Kyon in a peculiar, incomplete form, explaining that they're in a new dimension created by Haruhi. If she's satisfied with it, she could make it the new reality, replacing the old one. Yuki contacts Kyon through the computer, hinting at her trust in him and mentioning Sleeping Beauty. The next day, Kyon is left pondering the reality of his dream. As he arrives at school, he sees Haruhi wearing her hair in a ponytail, reminiscent of the dream. Haruhi is bored, so she signs the SOS Brigade up for a baseball tournament. The club manages to scrape together 9 players for the tournament and go to play. Their first matchup is against a college-level baseball team, the favorite to win the tournament. The SOS Brigade ends up giving up 9 runs in the first few innings and can't afford to give another one up, or else they lose the game. 10-run rule in this tournament. So Yuki, Mikuru, and Itsuki get wind of another space forming if they blow this game. They decide to play dirty. Yuki jimmies the bat, so it's a Dan home run machine, hitting 11 in a row to claw back. Then Kyon steps up to pitch, with Yuki on the catch, reading the throws so they're unhittable. They shut it down in the final inning, taking home the W. They then forfeit the tournament, as people were getting tired and Haruhi had enough fun for the day. Asahina asks Kyon to stay behind in the clubroom, where she reveals a device that can send them 3 years back in time. Kyon agrees, and they find themselves in the past. Asahina falls asleep, and her adult counterpart appears, instructing Kyon to carry Asahina to the school gates. Kyon bumps into a pint-sized Haruhi sneaking into school. He helps her scribble some crap in chalk, kicking off her obsession with aliens and all that jazz, which eventually leads to her starting the SOS Brigade. Later, Kyon wakes up Asahina, but they realize they'd gone and lost their time travel gizmo. They seek help from Yuki, who uploads her future self into the past to assist them. Yuki then keeps them in a time-stopped room for 3 years, bringing them back to the present day. Haruhi designs a new logo for the brigade's website. The day after the logo is uploaded, Asahina brings a girl named Himidori to the clubroom. Himidori is worried about her boyfriend, the computer club president, who has been missing for several days. Haruhi takes on the job, and the club visits his apartment. Inside, they find an empty room, but upon returning with Haruhi, they discover an enclosed space. Yuki leads them to a desert where they encounter a camel cricket, an information entity similar to Yuki, but serving a different primary entity. Koizumi and Yuki defeat the cricket, saving the computer club president. Turns out, Haruhi's logo was a hotline for some info entity to slide into folks' heads, just like it did with the computer club Prez. 5 other poor saps got zapped by it before Yuki tweaked the damn thing. And get this, the Prez never even had a girlfriend, leaving Kyon wondering if Kimbadori got played by Yuki to kick off this whole investigation. Koizumi conveniently arranges for the SOS Brigade to spend their summer break on a private island owned by his distant relative. Haruhi, always eager for a mystery to solve, is thrilled at the prospect of finding one on the island. Koizumi explains that Haruhi's recent fascination with closed-loop mysteries led them to this location, where they would create a scenario where everyone is trapped on the island. After a few days of fun and relaxation, a sudden and intense storm hits, leaving them all stranded. The situation takes a dark turn when they discover the body of the mansion's owner, brutally murdered with a knife through his heart. In this wacky scenario, shit hits the fan with a sealed room and all the damn entrances locked up tight. The victim's kid, who conveniently disappeared when the body popped up, gets the finger pointed right at him, while Itsuki does his own snooping. Haruhi and Kyon grill the butler and maid. They stumble upon a missing boat and start poking around a sketchy cliff shadow. But lo and behold, they get their asses lost, end up crashing in a damn cave, and get rescued by Itsuki. Turns out the victim accidentally offed himself while trying to pull off the locked room gag. Kyon and Haruhi pull a fast one on the others. Getting them to spill the beans and revealing the whole damn mystery was just a big fat sham. Kyon's chilling on the couch, watching baseball with his sis. Haruhi interrupts, telling him to meet the SOS Brigade at 2 p.m. in front of the station and to bring a swimsuit and his bike. The brigade spends the summer doing a ton of activities, like hitting up pools, festivals, fireworks, and more. They wrap up the season at a restaurant, agreeing it was a blast. Kyon ends the break failing to do his summer homework. After their part-time job, Kyon receives a call from Asahina, leading to a meeting with Koizumi, Asahina, and Yuki. Asahina is distraught over being unable to return to the future. Koizumi, the theory master, goes all eureka, claiming time's doing the hokey-pokey between August 17th and 31st. Yuki, our resident cosmic hitchhiker, goes, "Yep, been there, done that," revealing she's been stuck in this loop for a mind-numbing 594 years, enduring these same 2 weeks a jaw-dropping 15,498 times. Everyone's memories are erased each loop, so they don't realize the extent of the repetition. Despite this revelation, the SOS Brigade continues their summer activities. On August 30th, they meet at a restaurant to close out the summer. Haruhi abruptly leaves, and Kyon spends the last day neglecting his homework, knowing the cycle will repeat. Kyon's at home, rooting for the underdog in a baseball game, when Haruhi hits him up. She's all like, "Meet us at the station at 2 p.m., and then calls back with, "Oh, and don't forget your swimsuit and bike, because a regular meeting just ain't Haruhi's style." The brigade goes to the pool, an Obon festival, plays with fireworks, catches cicadas, and works a part-time job. After work, Kyon meets Asahina, who is upset about being unable to return to the future. On August 30th, they meet at a restaurant to close out the summer. Haruhi abruptly leaves, and Kyon spends the last day neglecting his homework, knowing the cycle will repeat, and so the cycle continues. Haruhi meticulously plans a jam-packed summer vacation schedule for the club, including activities like pool visits, festivals, fireworks, and more. However, Kyon starts feeling a strange sense of déjà vu, as if he's done these activities countless times before. Asahina rings up Kyon in a panic, so he bolts outside to find the gang already huddled up. Turns out, poor Asahina's all teary-eyed, blubbering about how she's stuck and can't jump to the future anymore. It hits them like a ton of bricks. They've been Groundhog Daying their damn summer vacation for over 15,513 times. Yuki, our resident brainiac, confirms it, laying down the law that they gotta figure out what floats Haruhi's boat if they want to bust out of this endless loop. Haruhi plans a packed summer. Pool, festivals, fireworks, bug catching, jobs, stargazing, batting, movies, karaoke, and more. They discover they're stuck in a loop after August 31st. Kyon briefly breaks the pattern, but fails to end it. The cycle continues, trapping them in an endless summer. The SOS Brigade's stuck in their own personal Groundhog Day, with Khan feeling like he's caught in a deja vu loop from day one. He's all Sherlock Holmes, predicting events like a boss and hyper-aware of every damn thing. They're stuck redoing festivals, fireworks, fishing trips, pool visits, bowling nights, stargazing, you name it, they've done it thousands of times. And poor Khan's stuck sensing the repetition like a freaking superpower. As they reach the last day again, Haruhi asks what they want to do next, but nobody responds. As she is about to leave, Kyon feels a strong sense of deja vu and tries to stop her. The loop resets and Kyon finds himself back at home, the cycle starting once more. The eternal summer loop begins anew. Kyon, more paranoid than ever, experiences intense deja vu, easily predicting conversations and events. The loop, which has repeated 15,531 times, seems impossible to escape. Despite knowing about the loop, the club members repeat the same events. As the loop nears its end again, Haruhi asks if anyone has a wish, but no one answers. Kyon, feeling a strong sense of deja vu, tries to stop her, but she leaves and they all go home. Kyon attempts to do his homework but fails, and the loop resets once more. The SOS Brigade enjoys various summer activities. Kyon is certain about the time loop and feels strong deja vu. As the loop ends, he tries to stop Haruhi, but is unsure how. He suddenly realizes the clue. He suggests they all do their summer vacation homework together. The next morning, the loop has ended. In the club room, Itsuki, with his bright ideas, suggests a round of poker for shits and giggles. Kyon's like, nah, broke as a joke, but Itsuki won't take no for an answer. Afterwards, he's all like, if I were in a time loop, I'd remind myself to hustle some poker for cash. During the sports festival, the SOS Brigade wears SOS Brigade banners and wins thanks to Yuki's help. She refrains from interfering in the eternal summer loop, but uses her powers to secure their victory. After the sports festival, it's time for the cultural festival, surprisingly close to the sports festival. Haruhi and Khan's class, still without a replacement for Ryuko, who disappeared earlier, decides to conduct a survey for the festival. Haruhi, unfazed, reveals grand plans for the SOS Brigade, creating a movie. She takes charge of directing and producing, while Khan and Esahina help gather equipment, with Haruhi persuading shop owners to donate. The next day, Haruhi forces Mikuru to wear her costume for the movie, a waitress outfit. She looks great, although she isn't very comfortable wearing it. And then the next day, the club packs up and heads down to the two shops that donated to their movie cause to film a commercial for them. That will be included in the movie. The next day after that, the club meets up for their first day of filming for the movie. They go to a park and film a bunch of random scenes with no dialogue. Kyon voices his concerns, but Haruhi tells him to stop worrying about it because they can just add dialogue on top of the video later. The SOS Brigade continues filming their movie, with scenes shot at various locations around town. Haruhi's up to her usual shenanigans, teasing poor Mikuru about her beam, but then shit gets real weird. Mikuru whips out her secret weapon, a supposedly invisible beam that sends Yuki into full-on bodyguard mode, tackling Kyon to safety. Next thing you know, Yuki's playing optometrist, yanking out Mikuru's contact lens like she's disarming a bomb. That evening, Koizumi and Yuki explain the situation to Mikuru, who is reluctant to continue filming. Haruhi takes a taxi to convince her, and the next day, filming resumes with added cast members from Kyon's and Mikuru's friends. Haruhi puts another colored contact lens in Mikuru's eye, leading to a struggle where Yuki tackles Mikuru to remove it, injuring her hand in the process. Haruhi then decides she wants Mikuru thrown into the water, which Mikuru reluctantly agrees to after some tears. They film Mikuru being rescued and brought to Itsuki's place. When Haruhi instructs Mikuru to kiss Itsuki, Khan objects, leading to a confrontation where he almost hits Haruhi before being stopped by Itsuki. They argue, and filming ends for the day. On their way back, Itsuki plays Sherlock to Kyon, showing off more proof of Haruhi's magical mojo by conjuring up white pigeons, all thanks to her whims. Itsuki's all like, "You better play by her rules, mate." Filming continues with Haruhi's unusual requests, including a talking cat that only speaks after she leaves, causing confusion for the rest of the SOS Brigade. Haruhi's wishes for the movie start manifesting in the real world, such as Mikuru's model guns firing water blasts. This puts pressure on the organizations behind Mikuru and Itsuki. Kyon learns that Mikuru's organization has a different view of Haruhi than Itsuki's. They believe Haruhi can change the present but did not create the world, unlike Itsuki's organization, which sees Haruhi as a god who created everything 3 years ago. Yuki's view is that Haruhi was created to unconsciously discover the supernatural without realizing it herself, and the universe works to prevent her from realizing it, partly through the SOS Brigade members and Kyon. Itsuki visits Kyon, concerned that Haruhi's movie could permanently change the world. He asks Kyon to convince Haruhi that it's just a movie, not reality. Kyon and Haruhi stay up all night editing the movie, but when they wake up, it's mysteriously finished. Haruhi assumes Kyon did it. They screen the movie at the festival, with Kyon ensuring a disclaimer that it's fictional, bringing Haruhi back to reality. Kyon later reveals to Haruhi that Yuki, Mikuru, and Itsuki are an alien, time traveler, and esper, respectively. Haruhi dismisses him as ridiculous and leaves the restaurant. We gather round for the big debut of the SOS Brigade's movie, and let me tell you, it's a cinematic experience like no other. Mikuru Esahina, our time-traveling battle waitress turned bunny girl ad sensation, is on a mission to babysit Itsuki Koizumi, the guy with psychic powers, and a knack for attracting trouble like a magnet. Nagato Yuki, the magic alien, crashes the party. Thinking Itsuki is her ticket to world domination, Itsuki convinces Yuki to delay her plans and moves in with Asahina. Yuki enrolls in their school to win Itsuki over, prompting Asahina to do the same. Yuki challenges Asahina to a final battle, overpowering her until Itsuki's esper powers awaken, saving Asahina and defeating Yuki. Itsuki and Asahina then live happily. The movie ends, leaving Kyon shocked and Haruhi excited to screen it at the cultural festival. It's the school festival, and with the AV Club handling the movie screenings, the SOS Brigade is free to enjoy the festivities. Kyon visits the maid cafe run by Asahina's class, and then wanders around before heading to the gymnasium for the musical performances. One band catches his attention. Haruhi and Yuki are part of it. They perform well, with the audience enthusiastically cheering them on. The next day, during lunch, Kyon chats with Haruhi, who admits feeling out of sorts. Kyon realizes it's likely because she's not used to being thanked. Despite this, Haruhi quickly shifts gears, excitedly planning a sequel movie for the SOS Brigade and suggesting they form a band for next year's festival. The computer club challenges the SOS Brigade to a duel in their space combat game. If the SOS Brigade wins, they get their stolen PC back. If they lose, they receive 4 additional computers. Despite Haruhi's reckless tactics and Mikuru's lack of computer skills, they have Yuki on their team. Game day rolls in and Yuki's on a hacking spree, throwing a digital wrench into the computer club's cheating shenanigans. The computer club honcho, seeing her skills, tries to poach her, but she's all, "Sorry, I've got plans," leaving them in the dust. She tosses in a cheeky, "I might drop by for a bite or two," just to keep him guessing. In the cold winter, the SOS Brigade's room is freezing. Haruhi arrives with news of securing a heater from a store they advertised in their movie. She sends Kyon alone to get it, forbidding anyone else to accompany him. When Kyon returns in the rain, he finds Yuki alone and sets up the heater before falling asleep. Upon waking, he finds only Haruhi remaining. She offers to share an umbrella she took from a teacher. Thanks for tuning in to our quirky journey with Kyon and Haruhi Suzumiya. If you enjoyed the ride and want more offbeat adventures, hit that like button and share with your fellow seekers of the strange. Stay tuned for more mind-bending escapades.